Welcome everybody. It is the Friday, December 11th, 2020 version of the Remodelers Show. What is the Remodelers Show? Why do we do this? One, I enjoy it, so that's good, but that's a minor point. Why do I enjoy it? Because the real point of the Remodelers Show is to help you. I have a knack, I have a desire, I enjoy, I feed off of sharing ideas, sharing best practices, sharing examples from other remodelers, reminding you of things that you may already know that you need to be doing a little better job of, teaching you new things, and seeing you actually grab it and do something with it and implement it. And not only impacting your business, but also your stress level, your profitability, your enjoyment in your business, seeing good things happen from taking an idea and implementing it. So that's what gets me fired up. And that's really the key point of the Remodeler Show, is to give you ideas that get you fired up and help you become a better remodeler. So here we are. And the format of today's show is a little bit of a standard Remodeler Show where we bounce around to a variety of different topics. And in between each, I do this. I hit a little chime. And that separates one idea from the next. And boy, would I love a little participation today, a little comments. I'm starting to see some people are viewing us live. Would love to have your comment, have your like, and we're going to rock. So the first thing that I was going to share with you this fine day, this fine Friday, is something called followupthen, THEN.com, followupthen.com. And I also put all of my ideas for the Remodeler Show on sticky notes on this hat. So if you see me grabbing sticky notes, it's because I've written down all the different topics we're going to cover today. Pretty clever. Followupthen.com. I have used this program for no less than 7 years, maybe. Might even more than that. The way it works is if I send an email to somebody and I say, hey, can you send me over your logo so that I can customize this? I will send that email, and in the BCC line, I will put 1 week at followupthen.com. 1 week at followupthen.com. And a week from the moment that I send that email, I will get a reminder in my inbox that says, hey, you wanted us to remind you a week ago about this email. And at that point, the person that already responded back, I'll just delete it. Or it's going to be my trigger to follow back up with them. You can put 2 days at followupthen. You can put 1 month at followupthen. You can put every Tuesday at 2 o'clock. You want to be reminded of something. And it's just something that allows me to be really sharp with my follow-up. But once I click send, I just totally forget about it. It works for me because I'm in my inbox throughout the day. That's a key way that my workflow works. But I've had several clients who have really enjoyed and embraced this as well. So I was using it earlier, and it just stinking works, and it gives me kind of peace of mind. It helps me be excellent at follow-up, and I like it. So I wanted to tell you guys about it. If you go to followupthen.com, you can sign up for free. I pay $5 a month for a paid version of it, which allows, what does it allow? There was some feature in there. It might be just the number that I send per month, but it was just some little thing like that. Wow, we're off and rolling with some ideas. We got, hi Justin, hi Jim. I see some likes from you guys. Let's see some comments. Maybe what questions do you have? We'll see. Next thing I wanted to mention is KLT, know, like, and trust. KLT, know, like, and trust. I wanted to just remind you or teach you the definition of marketing. The definition of marketing is getting someone who has a need to know, like, and trust you. To know, like, and trust you. There's a lot of definitions that people might throw at marketing, but that's the one that is really simple and clear. It's one that John Jantz, the founder of Duct Tape Marketing, has, and one that I've embraced. Know, like, and trust. So as you're putting out content, as you are creating content, as you get Google reviews, all the different efforts that you put into marketing your business is building know, like, and trust. So for example, if you get a nice, beautiful Google review, and it's one of your clients talking about how wonderful the experience was with you, and I'm a prospect and I've got a need for a kitchen remodel, when I see that, that's going to help me build trust with you. a testimonial like that, a review like that, it's going to help me build trust. And depending on what they write, it might also certainly help me see some like and maybe even just some no. Okay. So when you think of just how you're marketing, the goal is to build know, like, and trust. And a lot of times that might mean you're a little bit more personable. You let yourself and your personality shine through in the content you're creating. So again, know, like, and trust. Our goal is to build know, like, and trust. We're cruising along. I was talking to my wife. Her name is Sarah. I'm a little anxious because she might be watching today's show. I said, no, I cannot run you guys home lunch today because I have the Remodeler Show at noon. And she said, do you want me to join you for it? And I said, that would be the most amazing thing ever. So I actually sent her the invite link, which I don't think she's going to dial in. But I also sent her the live stream link on YouTube. And I said, at least you can heckle me in the comments. So hopefully she's going to do that. But and she's like, well, what are you even going to be talking about? And I said, well, this is just a little variety pack day on the Remodelers Show. I'm going to bounce around to different topics. I have like 9 of them, and I'm going to hit the chime button in between things. And she goes, so you're just going to like rush through things? You're not like really going to get into one topic? And I said, well, the people, all these people that are watching this, they kind of like the variety pack. They get reminded of things. But she was really intrigued by the fact that I have sound effects. I don't know if she'd be as impressed when she realizes it's me holding my phone up near my headset and clicking a button. We're not very high tech on the Remodeler Show, but it's effective. So Sarah, my love, if you're out there, please comment. Or even better, invite, and then I can bring your video up here and we can just have a fun little time. Don't the people want to hear from Sarah? Comment if you want to see or hear from Sarah. All right, the next one up that I wanted to touch on is this one, which is a 2020 recap. It is December the 11th, and soon it will be December the 31st, and this year will be transferring right over to 2021. It is a really good time of the year to spend 10 or 15 minutes and just think through the year that was. I have a few thoughts for you on this that I wanted to share. So I want you to kind of think through what worked about this year, what didn't work, what worked during this year, what didn't work. Just think about your business, what worked, what didn't work. I want you to just consider what improvements and changes have you implemented and what have you accomplished this year. Even that question in and of itself, a lot of times we forget half the stuff we did. We're moving so quick and you're always moving forward. To look back at the year and really remember and think about all of the things you did implement and that you did improve is a good thing. It's a good thing. A couple other things you could kind of consider is what you didn't accomplish that you wanted to. Let's get honest with ourselves about that. Talk about employee or personnel changes. Remind yourself of how the team has changed and that side of things. Talk about your revenue and profit numbers. Just kind of review that and write that down a little bit. And then also maybe toss in some personal notes as well. Fitness, faith, financials, family. I don't know if there's any other F words to use, but those are 4 F words. So put a little notes together related to that. So jot down some answers to these questions. And if you want to take it to the next level, you can also just open up your iPhone, go to voice memos, and record a little audio version of you just talking about your year, answering some of those questions and talking about it. I've given that advice out over the years to many clients. 1, just capturing your 2020 business story, which is what I just described to you. And 2, recording it via audio. I have one client over on the west side of Michigan. Hi, Josh. Hi, Josh Nelson. And Josh, over the last four years, has done that via audio. If you think about that, wouldn't it be super interesting to listen to your 2016 review of the year that was in your own voice? Nobody hears this. This isn't content you put out there. This is just for you to kind of go back and listen to. And in my case, as I ask my clients to do it, it's something for me to hear as well. But wouldn't it be interesting to hear what that year was like in 2016 in your own voice, to remind yourself of how far you've come, what you've been able to accomplish? Don't tell me for a second that seeing that distance between where you were and where you are today wouldn't encourage you, motivate you, show you patience pays off, that just day in and day out tenacity and brick by brick building the business pays off. We so often just rush right into the next year. It's a good time of the year to reflect. So there's a few ideas related to helping you reflect. All right. I like that one. I hope you take me up on that advice. Next thing that I want to just mention. Where do I want to go next? No comments? Where you at, people? You can put your one word open. You can put a takeaway that you've had so far. Can anybody toss a comment into the old box for your friend Kyle? I will draw attention while I'm waiting for your comments or your questions to the bottom of the screen. The bottom of the screen, for those of you maybe not watching the video, but maybe watching just the audio, it says your previous clients miss hearing from you. And then it says remodelersautopilot.com. Try it for $1. Just so you know, you're going to hear me very consistently talk about Remodelers Autopilot in the months and year ahead. I have some ambitious goals related to Remodelers Autopilot this upcoming year. It solves a problem that a lot of remodelers have. There's a lot of different ways you need to market your business, but this is coming from somebody whose work, my specialty, is marketing for remodelers, along with teaching you on your sales process, helping with your financials and understanding that. But I work with remodelers. So this is coming from somebody who's worked very closely, developed marketing plans, implemented marketing plans, seen results, tracked leads, seen what closes, closing percentage, thinks about all of the landscape and the things that you can be doing to market your remodeling business. They've got a lot of experience and expertise behind it. This is something you need to be doing. As part of your marketing, you need to be staying in touch with your previous clients. They're your most valuable marketing asset, and it is foolish to do a project for somebody and then for you never to reach out to them again, unless you run into them at the grocery store or happen to run into them. That's foolish. The majority of your leads are repeat work and referrals. And if you're purposeful with staying in touch with them more consistently, you're going to grow your repeat and referral work, which, by the way, usually closes at a better percentage, which is usually work that you really enjoy doing. So if you finished a project for me in December 2018 and I haven't heard from you since then, that's a problem. And give remodelersautopilot.com a look, please. And thank you. I've had 2 signups in the last 2 days for it. I'm kind of excited about that. Hi, Curtis, if you're watching. Curtis with Crafted Custom Homes and Plus Renovations signed up today. Cool. All right, so commercial over. Sorry. All right, next up. No comments. You guys are quiet today. Sometimes this happens. Sometimes you guys are feisty in the comments and you're sharing takeaways and you're asking questions. Other times you're quiet and you make me do 100% of the work. I'm always prepared to do 100% of the work. I'll pull this along. You just keep eating your lunch and sitting there listening and hopefully being inspired. But if you want to help me out, put something in the comment box. All right. So I talked about 2020 and kind of recapping the year. And then after we've done that, that's a good springboard to start thinking about what 2021 looks like. And it's good to think through some financial goals in 2021. What are you looking to do in your top line sales? What do you want to do with your gross profit margin and comparing that to previous years? What's your goal related to net profit this upcoming year? What's your goal related to debt pay down or pay off? Even better than pay down is pay off. I mean, paying down debt is cool, but paying off debt is really awesome. You want to be a debt-free business, by the way. Don't kid yourself and think that debt is cool. Debt is good. Debt is just part of what I need to run my business. I see a lot of 50, 52, 56, 58, 63-year-old remodelers who have been doing this for a long time, and none of them have debt. And it's not because they've just been doing it for a long time. Rewind the clock to when they were in their late 30s, 40s, and they started saying debt is dumb and I'm not going to carry it. I'm going to build up a savings account. It's been a critical part to them being able to weather the storms and the ups and downs. I want you to be debt free. Okay, anyways, so we think about what our debt goals might be, what our savings goals might be for the upcoming year. We think of some of these financial things, investments you're looking to make in the business, equipment you need to purchase. Let's think through all of these financially driven questions that might be coming up in 2021. All right. Okay. I've used the Remodelers Autopilot for a year or so and have signed up a couple jobs and got a few referrals. Well, isn't that fantastic? Whoever you are, your photo isn't coming through. If you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, you can click it so that it shows who you are. But that's wonderful. Sometimes you send out the email each month and you don't get a response. That happens. All marketing is like that. Other times you send it out and you get a phone call. Other times you send it out and you get a response from somebody that was a prospect 3 years ago that never turned in anything, and they respond back and say, hey, I've been getting your emails and we're interested in a kitchen remodel. Sometimes it's a previous client from 4 years ago that says, hey, I've been getting your emails and we were just talking about you the other day. We're ready to kind of embark on that addition project. It's easy for people to forward that email over for referrals. So that's part of Remodelers Autopilot. You also get done for your social media posts. There's also a Ask Kyle Anything where we're doing a kind of a private Zoom call each month. It's very cool. Cool. So thank you, whoever you are. I'll go back to the Facebook feed and see who that is. Okay, so we go through those financial goals, and then we need to just kind of go around the horn and think about these different areas of our business. You need to plan out your upcoming year. So think about what you want to do related to marketing, what you want to improve related to your sales process. What's a goal or two you have related to HR and your team? Maybe it's employee benefits. What's a goal related to production improvements? What about financial? So go around the horn to these different main areas of your business, and let's try to identify one or two goals that you have for the upcoming year. This is a good, upcoming weeks, hopefully have a little bit of extra time to, yes, rest and yes, spend with family, and also to think about your business and get strategic about it. And then as you think about these things, don't think of just this total annual full year business goals. Just think of that first quarter. What are your key things you want to focus on in the first quarter? And if you start and you put 4 or 5 things in there, that's great. Now let's narrow it down to 1 or 2. What are the 1 or 2 things you really want to execute and improve and implement in the first quarter of 2021? Less is more. Less is more. Focus on fewer things, because that's how you get things implemented. And then create some SMART goals around them. Okay. SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Okay, so those are some things as you're starting to think about 2021 that I would love for you to be thinking about. And I don't know who this is either. It says you demand, Kyle. Well, thank you. My ego appreciates that. Jim McKenna. Jim's bringing some question. What would be a realistic growth percentage? A realistic growth percentage. I was just talking this morning to a client of mine who did $800,000 of revenue in 2019 and is finishing up this year at 1.2 million. That is a 50% growth rate. When you're in that 300,000, 500,000, 800,000 realm of things, it's not crazy to have a 50%, 75%, 110% growth rate year over year. You land that big old project. I've got a couple clients who have really landed some well into the 6-figure projects this year that haven't in the past, and their growth rate this year is pretty tremendous. So Jim, if you're in that million and under range, a realistic growth percentage can be pretty decent and pretty big. Once you get into that 1 to 2 million and 2 to 3 million, growing 50% when you're up there, you're biting off a how would I finish that? You're biting off a I'm trying to think of how you finish that sentence. If any of you, so you're biting off a big, I was going to say just a big nut, but I don't understand what that even means. You're biting off a big nut. That's a huge bite. That's a huge growth, right? And that's going to require, some hustle. It's not unheard of, right? To still have a big growth rate. But that's what you kind of see as the business grows. You know, you go from, man, I just grew 50%, 40%, 30%, and then it might be a little bit less as you go. I will piggyback off of that question, and hopefully that answers a little bit of your question with something else that I wrote down here that I decided earlier to skip over. But now I'm going to go back to it because it ties in with what you're saying here. As I was talking to that client this morning who's gone from 800 to 1.2, the thing that we were also talking about is, where do you want to go in 2021? He now has a good solid office manager type position in place. He has somebody that's helping him on some production management. He's got another piece that he's thinking about adding. But I've gotten to know him over the last several years. And he's been in business a decent amount of time. He's in his mid to late 40s. And, you know, I said, what do you want to do, man? What's kind of your goal here? And he said, 10 years ago, it would be grow, you know, and this and that. He had a adequate but just small business for a number of years, and then decided, you know what, I need to stop being the point person on this. I need to hire a staff. I need to go through some growth because he was too stressed out. Okay, that's a little bit of the backstory on that too. And, you know, what he really wants is he wants a business that is, yes, producing a good living for him and a healthy net profit, has a good solid retained earnings and savings, but he wants a business that is not stressful to him. He's got a lot of hobbies and interests, and he wants to, that's his biggest goal. It is not to grow it into a $4 million business or even a $3 million business. As him and I started running the numbers and thinking about it, I think there's a really nice sweet spot for him in that 1.5, 1.8 range. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to fall and how the numbers are, but it's probably going to be in that range. And, you know, if he just sits in there, I think he's going to have designed the business that is really what he wants. Start with the end in mind. What are you trying to build? That to him is beautiful success. When he gets there, he might decide he wants more. He might decide he wants to pull back a little bit, to be determined, but most likely it's going to kind of fall into a sweet spot. There's a lot of you who experiment with, where is that sweet spot? I need to grow, and you get up to 3 million, you get up to 4 million, and you realize, crap, I got more headaches. This is a pain in the butt. I got more money out the door. Let me dial this back, and you find kind of where your sweet spot is. It's different for everybody. So, you know, what's your ambition? When I see realistic growth percentage, I shared a few thoughts related to that. And also think about, like, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to build? It's funny, I didn't even see this until I mentioned it. Zero growth is good too if you're in your sweet spot. I think you said that before I just went down that rant, whoever you are. Excellent. Let's keep cruising. I'm a little disappointed that my wife hasn't commented or shown up for the Remodelers Show. I was kind of excited, and now I'm disappointed. But life is full of disappointments, my friends, and it's how we respond to things that happen to us in life that really dictate how our lives go. Wow, Kyle, that was really deep. Well, thank you. It is Friday afternoon. Paul J. McManus commented on my post earlier that said, hey, I'm doing the Remodelers Show. Do you have any thoughts or questions? And he said, I'd be curious to hear of some Christmas gift ideas for staff. Christmas gift ideas for staff. Where my mind directly goes is customize it for each staff person. What do they like? You know, when it comes to end of project gifts, I am a big fan of not customizing end of project gifts, right? We just finished a nice $80,000 project. I'm a big fan of doing the same thing for them as the people before and the people after, because it reduces the noise. It reduces the complexity. There's not as much hustle and work and getting a custom basket just for them, because 80% of the effectiveness and the value of doing an end of project gift is the fact that you're doing the gift. The other 20% of the value is, wow, they really went above and beyond to customize this. Okay, so that's my thought process on that. Now, when it comes to your employees, I just kind of really like the idea of customizing it around them. You know, of saying, okay, I'm going to put $300 towards each of my employees. I'm going to put $100 towards each of my employees. What would they really like? What would kind of make them smile? I think that's just fun. I think it's fun from a culture standpoint. I think it's fun from getting something that is kind of well thought out from your boss. The other thing is, sometimes it's nice to just get $250 cash money. So maybe you just keep it simple like that. Maybe you put a really nice card and you put some thought into the card that really talks about how much you appreciate them, how much they mean to you, how much you value them. That as far as a Christmas present, is amazing. So Paul, there's a few thoughts. I know that's not like specific, but I think personalize it, whether it be the gift or whether it be taking the time to really think through a card. Paul, you're not the most emotional man I know. So I hope he's laughing at that. It's not an insult. He's just not super emotional. I've never seen the guy cry, and I've talked to him a lot. Come on. But Paul, I want you to write something to the point that might bring tears to your eyes and to their eyes. That's what I want you to do for your Xmas gift ideas for staff. How's that for something that I want to do? Paul Jacob Mans, check out the Remodeler Show dated 12/3 with Kyle and David Pollard. Very true. Dave and I went very deep into this topic of staff parties at the end, gifts, etc. Cool. All right. Another question that was submitted was by Chris Mosley, fella out in Utah, wonderful remodeler. And he said this: we're dealing with so many scheduling issues with our trade partners, material delays, sick employees, and poor time management. We do our best to post schedules, timelines, and communicate to make adjustments. What strategies have been effective in maintaining schedules and, most importantly, relationships with these partners as they underperform and miss deadlines? We have empathy for the times and situations, but we also have a job to do and still need to provide a great experience for our clients. There's a lot packed into that one. So I'll unpack a few parts of it. I'll start at the end of it. We still have a job to do and still provide a great experience for our clients. That last part, great experience for our clients. Great experience for our clients. Running a successful remodeling business is about doing a lot of little things right, but kind of the banner over the top of production and really the whole experience is designing your process so that you're truly delivering a great experience for your clients, a remarkable one that they'll actually remark about. Wow, that was a great experience. I'm kind of surprised. I thought remodeling was going to, right? There's still going to be bumps in the road, but we put a ton of focus in our business on giving our remodeling clients a great experience. So if that is really clear and if that is really part of what you're trying to do, that message needs to go out to your trade partners. That's the first thing that you say to them. That's your first communication. Is I'm going to say his name's John. John, let's say is the plumber. Let's say John's the plumber. John, and this is not. When's the best time to correct your trade partners? When's the best time to correct your children? Let's go there. It's not in the heat of the moment. It's when things have calmed down. It's the next day. It's later that week. It's a better time to bring it up. So that's another tip there, Chris. But Chris, when you reach out to John the plumber, you need to talk about time delays, poor time management, and missing schedules. What you need to say is, I know that there's a lot of work out there. I know that there's a lot of people that you can also work for. So it scares me to tell you some of the things I'm going to kind of call you out on because I don't want you to go anywhere. I really enjoy working with you, especially if that's the case. But there is an experience that we're trying to deliver to our clients. There's an experience that I have laid out for them related to staying on schedule, on budget, making sure we're moving the project forward that I've promised to them throughout the sales process and also throughout the production process. And when we're missing deadlines, when we're messing up our schedule, when our communication is very poor and I was expecting you to be there and I don't hear from you, it makes us look bad. It really hurts the overall experience we're trying to deliver to our client. And it's just not the way we work. And I know that you're busy, but I am kind of setting a little higher bar of expectation. If you're going to work on, Chris Mosley's projects, like this is the level. I understand things happen, but we have seen this time and time again these last 4 months, and something needs to change. So approach it from that. You're hearing directness there. You're also hearing, it's affecting the experience or client, and that's the number one concern I have. So it was interesting that you left that at the end, or you put that at the end, because I think approaching it from that angle would be helpful. Chris, you got to be patient. Chris, you have to continue to deepen your bench. You have to deepen your bench of other trade partners that you can work with. When you only have one electrician, you are at their mercy. When you have 3 that you can call, now all of a sudden you have a little bit more leverage and you have a few more options. Okay, so one of my clients has a KPI, key performance indicator, a goal for a few key people on the team, one being their production manager, that every week that production manager is reaching out to a new potential trade partner and having a meaningful conversation with a new potential trade partner. It's a constant thing. We're always, by the way, you're always going to have to be recruiting for new trade partners, new relationships. That's never going to end, unfortunately. Okay, so that's part of your business, is to always be recruiting for new trade partners. So Chris, that's another aspect in this. And hold the line on the experience. Hold the line on, this is the level of craftsmanship, of communication, of expectation that I have for my trade partners. And there's going to be some guys that fall off that wagon and they don't want to live up to that expectation. But don't knock your expectation down 3 notches out of fear of they're never going to work with me anymore. I need to get this work done. Yes, those are concerns. But the good ones, the good solid people that you want working for you, they'll rise to the occasion. Sometimes we just need to be called out, reminded, clearer expectations. And of course, all the basic things, you pay them better than, on time and quicker than anybody else does. Those little things that matter to some of your trade partners, make sure you're executing all of that. And I guess the other thing is, if you have somebody that is just, this is a recurring problem. When you do sit down with them, and ideally you're sitting down with them versus a random phone call. I know it's COVID time, so that even might be hard. Maybe do a Zoom call. Before you say anything, ask a bunch of questions. Ask 5 questions before you say anything else. How are you doing? What's going on with your situation? How are you, what's your stress level like? Really try to actually put yourself in their shoes, because the way that you talk to that person, the way you're going to respond to them is going to be a lot different once you've put yourself in their shoes and actually understand where they're coming from. You're going to be more empathetic, which is going to help you lead them better, which is probably also going to help you get the results you're looking for. So thank you for your question, Chris. I hope I did it justice, and I hope I gave you a few takeaways. Folks, I was just about to wrap up the Remodelers Show, but we have a Steve Gruber sighting. Steve Gruber says, Kyle, really enjoy seeing you, buddy. It is a great show. Steve is an old high school buddy of mine. Have we seen each other since high school, Steve? And we're old now. That's like almost 20 years. Coming up on 20 years. Crap, it's been 20 years. That's how that happens. Steve Gruber, several Steve Gruber stories as we end the Remodelers Show. Number 1, lefty. He was known to take a ball or 2 over the right field fence at Tecumseh Indian Stadium. We played baseball together growing up. I have a lot of fond Gruber memories there. The other not so fond memory is the worst that I've ever been burned. If I end up with like skin cancer on my neck or shoulders in the future, I will trace it back to summer of 1996, Steve Gruber's house. And I remember Mama Gruber said, Kyle, do you want some sunscreen? Nah. And I remember burning to a crisp. That's not as fond of a Stevie Gruber memory, but good to see you, man. Nope, we haven't seen each other. Love you, brother. All right, that is the Remodelers Show, folks. Let me recap a few things for you remodelers watching. I did mention Remodelers Autopilot. If you're not staying in touch with your previous clients, check that out, remodelersautopilot.com. We talked about followupthen.com. It's a great little follow-up tool. If you forget things a lot, if you don't really have a good follow-up system, I think you'll really like that. Talked about the definition of marketing, getting someone as a need to know, like, and trust you. Talked about doing a nice solid 2020 recap. It's a great time to do that. Think about your year, write some stuff down. If you want to take it to the next level, just bust out your voice memos and record in your own voice kind of the year that was. It's going to be super interesting for you to go back and listen to that even next year, but especially a few years later. It's important that we remember how far we've come. We don't give that enough credit. Think about your first quarter of 2021. If you have 5 or 6 different ideas of things you want to improve or implement in 2021, turn that 5 or 6 down to 2 or 3. and focus your energy on those and create some SMART goals around them: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound. And I think we hit on some other things. You guys had some good questions, talked about sweet spots, and that's a wrap. I'll catch you guys on the next Remodeler Show.